Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
I'm Greg Mills in Santa Rosa, California. This home, one of at least 1,500 structures that have burned in wildfires in Northern California.
Did city commissioners decide the fate of the Black Olive proposal tonight? I'll have that story coming up.
Happy Tuesday, Southwest Montana, 6:30. Missy O'Malley is off. Matt Elwell has our forecast in a moment. At least 15 wildfires continue to burn throughout California. The fires are blamed for at least 10 deaths, hundreds of injuries, and the destruction of at least 1,500 homes. Firefighters still trying to figure out what sparked the flames, which are being fanned by unusually high winds. CBS's Greg Mills is in hard-hit Santa Rosa, California, with the latest.
This was a Hilton hotel in the Napa Valley that catered to tourists visiting vineyards. Firefighters decided to just let it burn last night because it was too far gone and they were spread too thin. More than a dozen wildfires throughout California continue to burn out of control, primarily up here in wine country in Sonoma and Napa counties. Those trying to evacuate oftentimes find themselves stuck between pockets of flames.
There's fires everywhere. I've been sent in 3 different directions.
Homes, businesses, and entire forests are engulfed in flames. Vice President Mike Pence, on an unrelated visit to the region, promised federal support.
The federal government stands ready to provide any and all assistance to the state of California as your courageous firefighters and first responders confront this widening challenge.
As for how at least 15 wildfires can break out here in Northern California at roughly the same time, firefighters say that number is not that uncommon during wildfire season, and you can blame the weather for the size of the fires.
When you add a 50-mile-an-hour wind throughout many counties, those fires they get very large before resources can get at scene and contain them.
Shelters have been set up for evacuees and for those whose homes have been destroyed. Authorities here in Santa Rosa are on the lookout for looters. They've imposed a sunset to sunrise curfew. Greg Mills, CBS News, Santa Rosa, California.
Now, California Governor Jerry Brown declared a state of emergency for 6 counties. One Northern California county says it has received more than 100 missing person reports. Officials say many of those people may just be difficult to reach because of widespread cell phone outages. Also, just 1 week out of retirement, Neptune Aviation's legendary P2V tankers are responding to deadly firestorms engulfing Northern California. Missoula-based Neptune Aviation says its Tanker 7 and Tanker 14 aircraft have been reactivated, along with Tanker 2 and Tanker 3, and all are being dispatched to California. It's already been an incredibly busy fire season for Neptune's next-gen jet tankers. It was just a week ago the company held a retirement celebration for the venerable prop-driven P2 tankers, which had been the workhorses of the company's fleet for the past 25 years. It was called a bittersweet moment, but now with thousands of acres burning in what some are calling one of the worst firestorms in recent California history, the P2Vs are joining Neptune's jets, which are already flying missions over the Inferno in California's wine country. So back in action again, not quite ready for retirement.
Yep, that's exactly right. Don't retire the coats yet. Temperature's still chilly this morning. We are going to continue with the cool air for the time being. It depends on where you are, though. 32 in Dillon, 24 in Butte, 27 in Belgrade. Sitting at 18 in West Yellowstone this morning. Cloud cover playing a big part in that. Not everybody dealing with the clear skies, so the temperature's a few degrees warmer in parts of the region. Daytime high should be into the mid to upper 50s, maybe low 60s by the afternoon. We do have some changes heading this way. We'll talk about that forecast coming up.
Thank you, Matt. Now 6:34, one of the hot button issues of development in the Bozeman area brought out a lot of opinion at the City Commission meeting last night. MTN's Morgan Davies was at City Hall for the packed meeting.
Those who shared their comments tonight all noted that Bozeman is growing and they want to welcome the growth in the city, but not with a project like this.
No matter what the code says, no matter what the wording in the documents say, no matter what the policy reads like, when you are faced with a consistent, long-standing, passionate response from people who are only trying to speak on behalf of their community, you need to listen.
There were points made about the architecture not fitting in.
But I'm just concerned that 25 years from now, some of these buildings that you're approving are going to be viewed as trendy and unattractive.
And that downtown is driving out the working class.
A lot of working people are getting priced out of the areas around downtown, and I urge the Commission, when considering projects like Black and Olive, to think about working families, laborers, social workers, teachers, and whether or not they deserve the opportunity to afford access.
However, it wasn't all negative comments. There were some who would like to see downtown be a high-density area.
Can't be a thriving, diverse, dynamic community and not expect to see change. New buildings, different kinds of buildings, new neighbors, more traffic. If we shut the door to change, we also shut the door to an economically vibrant future.
Now, Morgan tells us commissioners decided to delay a vote on the project until a special meeting coming up on Wednesday, October 18th at 6 o'clock. Also at last night's meeting, city commissioners said yes to a contract to hire Andrea Surratt as the new city manager. Last week, commissioners voted 5-0 to hire Surratt. Last night, they approved the details of a contract with her. She'll be paid $148,500 a year with a raise of $10,000 starting November 1st of 2018. She will receive a housing supplement of $2,000 a month, a transportation reimbursement of $570 a month, and her moving expenses will also be paid. An investigation is underway after a reported armed robbery took place near MSU campus early yesterday morning. Bozeman police responded to the call just before 8 o'clock at the intersection of South 16th and College. Man told police he had been robbed by 5 men in a garage on the 600 block of South 16th. Police apprehended 2 of the suspects for interviews. One of them was armed with a gun and mace. They're still seeking a 3rd suspect for questioning. Police say that the public should not be worried.
At this point, it appears as though everybody that is involved in this may know each other type of thing, so we don't feel that there's any threat to the community at all. So it's just a matter of us putting together the pieces of what happened here this morning.
Now we'll continue to update you news on this investigation as it becomes available. Shifting gears just a bit, State District Judge Russell Fagg of Billings says he has an announcement this Saturday regarding Montana's U.S. Senate race. Fagg, a Republican, says he plans to unveil the results of his exploratory committee that's been looking into a possible run against Democratic Senator Jon Tester for 2018. Fagg has been raising money, traveling the state, and meeting with voters, talking about whether he can beat Tester next year. However, he insisted that he still hasn't decided whether to become a candidate. Fagg is stepping down from his judge position on Friday. He decides to run for the U.S. Senate. He'll become the 6th Republican officially in the race. Tester is running for a 3rd consecutive term, already has raised close to $8 million in campaign funds. By the way, the Republican primary to choose Tester's GOP opponent is next June. Lawmakers and executives gathered in Missoula yesterday to talk about Montana's evolving economy. High-tech jobs were touted as the future of the state's economic growth. Now, there are challenges to building a high-tech industry in rural Montana, including building infrastructure and local partnerships. Montana Republican Senator Steve Daines says creating policies and incentives in Congress and fast-tracking the process of building infrastructure across public and private sectors is crucial to bringing high-tech jobs to Montana. Speakers at the High Tech Summit say that creating partnerships with local governments and organizations is critical to making sure everyone has access to reliable, high-speed internet. Lawmakers and business owners talked about how increasing broadband capabilities can also increase jobs here in the Treasure State.
Over 60% of rural Montanans don't have access to broadband. 65% of Indian country do not have access to broadband. We've got to bridge that connectivity divide.
Now, in spite of challenges, Senator Daines says the high-tech industry has the potential to transform Montana businesses and create new jobs. Well, the bear suspected of car break-ins in some Big Sky areas still on the loose. 250-pound black bear likely responsible for breaking into 6 cars, even some homes. Fish, Wildlife and Parks did apprehend a black bear over the weekend, but according to FWP spokesperson Andrea Jones, she told MTN News the agency does not believe it is the bear responsible for the break-ins. Gallatin County Sheriff's Office says if you do come across a bear breaking into a vehicle, do not approach, just simply call 911. Now, over the past weeks, we've told you about the MTN Wildfire Relief Fund, a collaborative effort with the Montana Community Foundation that has raised now more than $424,000 for the most impacted by those of summer's wildfires. Beginning yesterday through November 10th, applications to apply for a grant are available. Rural volunteer fire departments are highly encouraged to apply for that as well. Again, thanks to all who donated. We appreciate your help in that, and we look forward to distributing those funds to where they need to go. Meantime, we're going to take a quick break here on Montana This Morning. When we come back, our weekly Montana Made takes us to the river, actually to the river bottom. Where we come back, we'll take a closer look at the unique items used by river bottom restoration. But first, here's Nora O'Donnell with a look at what's coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead here on CBS This Morning, we're in northern and southern California where fast-moving flames are forcing firefighters to choose between saving people and protecting homes. And Denmark is considered one of the happiest countries in the world. Mo Rocca takes us on a tour of Copenhagen to find out why. We'll see you right at 7.